In this video, we're going to review how to find the surface area of 2D composite figures. So as you can see, we have a problem. Leah needs to purchase enough wood to create a porch for her dollhouse. Use the blueprints to help her determine the surface area of her porch. So the porch is over there. We're going to take this problem in 4 steps. We're going to break up the composite shapes into shapes that we know, like triangles, circles, and squares or rectangles. We're going to list all the dimensions that we know for each one of the independent shapes, and then we're also going to include any surface area formulas that we need. Then we're going to calculate the surface area of each individual shape, and we're going to finalize it by adding all of the surface areas together in order to determine the surface area of the complete composite figure. So in our first step, we want to go ahead and we want to outline the shapes that we know. So we do have a triangle right here, and we have another triangle over here as well. Some things that we know about these triangles are that these triangles are the same triangle. And we can tell that they are the same triangle because they share a lot in common. They share 2 sides, so we can see that because of this line right here letting us know that these 2 sides are equal and both 8 inches. They also share a common angle inside, so we have the right angle right here, and then they share another side as well, and that right angle is an included angle. And again, because these 2 lines match these 2 lines over here, we know that both of these sides are 6 inches and both of these sides are 8 inches. So we're only looking at one triangle, though we're looking at it 2 times. We also have 2 different rectangles. We have a rectangle up here, and then we have a second rectangle down here. So some things that I know, the shapes that I know, is that I have 2 different rectangles. I have a rectangle A being the larger rectangle. I have a rectangle B being a smaller rectangle. And I have 2 triangles, but both of those triangles have the same dimensions. So I'm just going to make one triangle. Okay, so my next step, I'm going to go ahead and determine the dimensions and write any surface area formulas I know. Remember, when we're talking about determining dimensions, we're talking about determining the dimensions or the length, height, and base of each one of the shapes that we know. So we have, again, our 2 different rectangles. We have rectangle A and rectangle B. So our rectangle A has a length of 36 inches and a height that we don't know about. But we can calculate the height because we know the whole height of the entire shape is 16 inches. And if we subtract out the 8 inches for the height of each triangle, we'll get the height of just the rectangle here. So the height of just the rectangle is also 8 inches. So for our rectangle B, we have a height of 8 inches. Remember, the height of the triangle and the height of the rectangle are the same. And we have a length, but we don't know what that length is. We do know that the entire length of this is 36 inches. And we know that we have one 6-inch length from this triangle and one 6-inch length from this triangle as well. So if we subtract out each of the 6-inch lengths from the triangles in order to figure out just what the length here is, we'll find out that we have 36 minus 6 minus 6, which is equal to 24 inches. Now moving on to the triangle, we already have all the information that we need. We have a height of 8 inches. Remember that the height must be perpendicular to the base, and we have a base of 6 inches. So our step 3 is to go ahead and calculate the surface area. On our last slide, we did have the surface area formulas for each of the shapes. So here I've just brought all that information together. So for my rectangle A, all I'm going to do is plug in the information that I have. So I have my surface area is equal to my length, which is 36 inches, times my height, which is 8 inches, which is equal to 288 inches. And remember, because we're looking at surface area, we're going to square that. Anytime we see surface area, we should already know that our units are going to be squared. Moving on to rectangle B, again, surface area here. I have my length of 24. I have my height of 8. And 24 times 8 is 192 inches. Again, squared because we're looking at a surface area. And moving on to my very last shape, my triangles. Again, each one of the triangles are the same. So I have my surface area is equal to 1/2 my base, which is 6, times my height, which is 8. So each one of my triangles has a surface area of 24 inches squared. Okay, so now it's time to wrap it all together in step 4, where I'm going to add the surface area of each individual shape together in order to determine the surface area of the entire composite shape. Keep in mind, I have one rectangle A, one rectangle B, but I do have 2 of the same triangles. So I'm going to have to multiply my triangle surface area by 2 in order to account for the 2 different triangles that are in the porch. My first surface area for rectangle A is 288 inches, plus my 192 inches squared from my rectangle B, and then 2 times 24, which is equal to 48 inches squared. When I add all of these values together, I get 528 inches squared. So Leah would need to buy 528 square inches of wood in order to make her dollhouse porch.